So they have protects main deck. We just have to get under their removal. But we have no protects and stand together for harsh rules. Game 1. It's game 2 that we'll have to bring those in. But we'll just have to live with this. And they have a bunch of silences, so they just have a million ways to answer these outlets and flyers. So we'll have a lot of changes in our sideboard for this next game. I have a lot to change. But this hand's pretty good. If they stumble in any way, we could get under them and get to our beatdowns. Yeah, I actually lost to Mono Justice last week in the ETS. It was one of my 2 losses. It was close, though. I think that was last week. Yeah, that's fine. And we'll save this silence because they could have Sandstorm Titan next turn, and that card's a pain in the ass. Yeah, I didn't feel like playing them, right? We have flyers. Playing Flight School's back. Flight School is back. When does casual play unlock? We have no idea. I still really want to save this silence for Sandstorm Titan. Or like anything else going on in their deck. So let's just play Hammer here. And I think I'd rather play it on the Owlet. It actually conveniently dodges Vanquish for now, too. Which is kind of nice. And I'd rather just keep it on a flyer than a dude on the ground. Like, this with a hammer does get through this. And then what, right? Yeah, rank is casual play. And plus there's Gauntlet for casual play, right? Like, there's plenty of options to play casually. Or you can just challenge friends. We'll see what casual play ends up being. I'm interested, for sure. Alright, so they don't have Sandstorm Titan. So now we've got to make some decisions as far as, like, how much pressure do we want to put on here? Do we want to just keep bouncing off each other? Or do I just need to try and end this before they find an answer? They are a Harsh Rules deck, which is spooky. And there's just so many good Valkyrie Enforcer. Yeah, all right. We're gonna kind of hedge, right? We can just do this, buff this, and swing like that. And then based on what they do here, we can move forward. Like, it's safe to say they haven't drawn a Harsh Rules or okay. Well, now we can really apply pressure. Although I still don't really see a point in playing this Valkyrie Enforcer. We can just wait until we have lethal in the air, right? And is there a point to playing this Reinhardt? Not really. Alright, so they found a Desert Marshal. So this becomes a 3/6. Okay. They still block with that. And then they block with this. No, they're spooked. They know we don't have combat tricks. I don't know what they're playing around. Alright, well, we'll kill that. Like, they can see our deck list. This is not really the matchup we want this card in. Oh, I punted! I totally forgot that this gets buffed. That was the whole point we were playing it, because of that little thing. I'm going to have to silence this after all of that. Or we have to hope they don't get a flyer. Oh, man. Wow, we missed out on 6 damage. Jeez. It would have been marshaled instead? Yeah, but then we would have had another 6/6 flyer. Still a punt. Okay. Finally, we drew another silence. Jeez, I was starting to get worried there that we'd never find one. Them gaining 5 is pretty big. We're nicely ahead on board here, though. So they have protects, seek powers, doesn't run. Yeah, okay. Again, just gonna save this silence until it's lethal. Ooh, that's a good draw. Survives harsh rolls. Alright, we're presenting lethal. And I'm gonna go for it. They would have to have drawn their 3rd of 4 Desert Marshals. Odds of that are pretty low. Alright, we got game 1. We made a misplay. Luckily, didn't get punished too hard for it. Any reason I don't play any Great Parliaments? Didn't feel like it. What's the cut? Right? Those are the questions we have to ask. It's a good card. Certainly a good card. But I wanted my 4-drops to have a more immediate impact on the board, like right away. That's why all of our 4-drops, if you look, are Xenon Obelisks and weapons. We thought about a 1 of Great Parliament. But we don't... It just didn't feel necessary to play a 4/4 flyer for 4, which is essentially what it'd always be, right? Like, it's not often going to get cost an 8 if we even play like it as a 1 of. Alright, so, sideboarding. We have a 90 card deck that has our entire sideboard in it, right? So we clone that, and then we trim 15 cards from it. We just trim out 15 cards. Game 2 versus Chrono side. So, what do we want against Combrei? Infinite Hourglass, we don't want to waste cards. I don't think we need specifically protects. I think stand togethers are generally going to be good enough. I didn't put delay on stream? No. Absolutely not. No interest in that. Paladin Oathbook. It's more for control matchups. We're going to try and go wide and beat the hell out of them that way. I like all of this big dumb 4-droppy stuff. I really like Praxis Displacer and Steward of Prophecy against them. Praxis Displacer is not quite as strong. Mama.
Is he?
Sorry about that. This is an open. Anybody can play in this. It's free. I'm already qualified for the Invitational. I won last week's. Also on no delay. The community's great. I mean, if somebody ends up sniping, they end up sniping. I think we cut all the Awakened students. Like, just having dudes doesn't make any sense. Sorry, Chronicle. I don't know how people sideboard so quickly. I really like Steward of the Prophecy. It takes out their silence units. If it hits Vodacon, it's actually a joke. Over Doodoo? Yeah. Yeah, why would we play Sandstorm Titan in this matchup, right? What matchups are we bringing Sandstorm Titan in against? We're not weak to flyers, we play flyers. Sandstorm Titan will often help our opponent more than it'll help us. Maybe we don't need a Displacer. Maybe we don't need the Obelisk. Like, we're already... They're weak enough to go wide that we don't need the Obelisks. And then cut maybe 1 Steward or 1 Hammer. I like the Hammers. That lets our units keep up in size. Scorpion Wasp messes with them a lot. You can just play 1 Displacer, but Displacer's so good against Sandstorm Titan. It's just more answers. Like, basically our deck just wants more answers as Sandstorm Titan, not less. not give our opponent Sandstorm Titans. Alright, we'll go 2-2 split up here. I can maybe trim a Hammer of Might. But that card's sick. Actually, yeah, we'll do it like this. We'll try this. We'll try it like that. Alright. Yeah. We were trying to figure out like what we wanted our 4-drops to be and like what matchups we're taking out of Obelisk and stuff, and maybe this works. Maybe this works. I like it. Seems like a pile of hate. And I think Stand Together's better than Protect. Protect does help against Silence. Why aren't we running Oathbook in this deck? I have it in the sideboard, but why would I run it here? Is it good here? I don't think Oathbook's good here. Oathbook's more against control, right? Where you just present one threat at a time and it grows. Like, against this, yeah, it's control, but they're also playing 5/6s. Like, making our 2/2 into a 4/2. Yeah, there's 2 Oathbooks in the 90. There's 2 Oathbooks in the sideboard. This doesn't put on a ton of pressure, but it's got a lot of tempo to it. Got a lot of tempo to it. So we'd like to find our 4th power. I would have liked to have had a better threat on 3 than a Scorpion Wasp, but what can you do? Alright, double... maybe Vodkin Staffs were the cuts. I think I'd rather play an Owlet here than a Staff. Play around Vank for now. Vodkin Staff is a better threat than Scorpion Wasp on 3. I can agree with that. I can agree with that sentiment. This thing just gets silenced all day. But hey, that means our other flyers aren't getting silenced. There's Doo-Doo-Doo. God, this is really bad on the draw. And when we're stuck on 3. Options are hold up Scorpion Wasps if they attack with this, but I'd rather keep attacking my opponent instead. That could be a misattribution of roll, but whatever. This is a little clunky. I do like the 2/2 split, though, right? And we don't know if we're going to be on the play or the draw, so it's kind of hard to board in knowing one way or another. So it's like, are we going to steward here or displace her? If depends on if they tap out. Wow, they brought in decays? That's good for us. They just decayed a Staff, so that's pretty sweet. Alright, I'm going to actually Wasp this. Well, now they probably don't swing, which isn't good for us either. I don't know. Well, you're going to heal this or this. They should sniff out Wasp here. Yeah, they do. Do we just double block this? I could Wasp that. I mean, once we draw the 4th power, we're in incredible shape. You could double block this, and maybe they greedily kill this, and then we play Wasp, and this is still buffed, but then Wasp can get... I think we just have to play assuming we're going to draw our 4th power here, right? And be able to apply pressure by just bouncing this over and over. I'm still not going to block this. It's just not how I want to use my Scorpion Wasp. Because killing that doesn't change the rest of this plan, right? Stand Togethers are going to be awkward here, right? In that we're stuck on... We're tight on power. Like, they could harsh rule here, but at least they're harsh ruling a Chancellor Seraph, and then they don't get to play Sandstorm Titan, and then we get to Steward of Prophecy it. That's like... It's not the end of the world if they do that. Of course, Steward of the Prophecy then can't deal with that. Alright, we're going to just... Could permanently answer it, but I like making them waste their power over and over. And this is more power efficient. In a post-Wrath world, we might be able to Seraph and Vanquish, per se. Alright, yeah, we'll just keep sending them to the bounce house. This game might just come down to the fact that we were stuck on 3 a little too long. Like, we're not quite applying as much pressure as soon as we would have liked. I think Scorpion Wasp is one of those, like, necessary evils, though, right? It's just kind of like a necessary evil. This smells like a Wrath. Let's see here. And we're at 11. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, but I'm also okay with just blocking like that. 5. It's not like we would have had 11 on the crackback, right? Alright, so what does our steward find? That is now the question. We know it'll find a Sandstorm Titan, but we have a Vanquish for that. Let's see if there's something else we're worried about. Scorpion Wasp and Martial Ironthorn. Scorpion Wasp is a good thing to silence, I would say, at this spot in the game. So we'll do that. We'll silence Scorpion Wasp. They'll play one of their clunky big cards instead. We vanquish that and keep applying pressure. Right? Now I'd like to save this for Sandstorm Titan. Not sure if I can afford to. There's Wasp. Gonna have to slow things down a little bit here. Ugh. So one option is Staff, Swing, Vanquish. We have a 7/6. They have a Sandstorm Titan and a Mystery card. And this could force them to trade their Titan there, and we have like CRF, a Familiar, and a Wasp for the long game. Other option here is like kind of deploy our board and be patient. I don't know if I feel like being patient. Like this might make them think they want to be in a racing situation. And that might be enough to bait a good Scorpion Wasp. This is something we have to deal with eventually. So let's just assume we'll draw another Vanquish or something here. And we have a Wasp if that's how we need to deal with Titan. This poor Titan. He's had a rough life, right? Oh. Well, that's a decent answer to their problems. Yeah, force them to have Harsh Rule, which they had. Oh, there was a pause there? Man, they're drawing fire off the top. Damn. They either drew another Scorpion Wasp or a Desert Marshal, and both of those are going to be a pain for us. And this is not where we want to be. We're in this bad ground stall, right? This is just not where we want to be. At least we have a CRF, but they have a CRF, and they're on 8. Not a good situation for us. I'm actually going to play a Wasp here because we have another one. And try and bait out some stuff here. Oh, excellent. The issue is we didn't get to silence this, and now they're going to start activating it. We're in pretty bad shape here. Yep. Don't have a good solution for that other than to try and get to our own CRF. Hopefully we draw Marshall and do that, because now we can't even like silence this and try and beat him in the skies, right? So now we silence their CRF and be like, all right, let's have fun. This is why I hate Sandstorm Titan, right? This is the opposite of fun. I actually am going to have to Scorpion Wasp this, right? I guess I can just put Steward. Vanquish the Steward. Alright, we're happy about that. we're still in a lot of trouble, right? They're just going to have better top decks than us. Is there any reason to play familiars on this board? If I draw a hammer, I'm not going to put one on it. We have, what, 1 staff in the yard? We have 2 staffs in the yard. Wow, so us hitting 8 is going to be a big deal. It's going to be a real big deal. So we're just going to save these for double staffs. Which means there's no real reason to play them this turn. Because I don't really feel like trading them. Although, if they're just going to go wide beats, I might just need one of them to block. Yeah, maybe this just discourages attacks. See how? Oh yeah, if you play harsh rule, you play 4. We've seen 2. That second harsh rule was clutch. Yeah, we need the blocker. We don't want to block with this, but it's a situation where we need to. Yeah, and now we get put through the grinder, right? Now we're in a lot of trouble. Like, yes, we have Seraph activations, and yes, if we find a power, we have double staff, so we can do some things, but they're drawing an extra card every turn, which is a problem. They don't have stand-togethers, do they?
Ooh-wee.
Nope. They're just throwing resources at us. Predatory Carnosaurs, decays, privilege of rank. Yeah, I don't see anything along those lines. We just have to do that, right? As much as I'd like to, you know, silencing this makes no sense because they still have the Karmic Guardian, and silencing this makes no sense because they still have the Sandstorm Titan. So we're going to silence this, and we'll figure these out eventually. Want to answer this somehow, though. Does it make more sense to chump here and block this? Then I still have to chump this every turn. This we might find an answer to because this will be alive. Yeah, I think this is better. Now, they probably have another Haymaker for us here. But maybe they don't. Oh, yeah, they have another Haymaker for us here. Whiff. Oh, no. Another flyer? So I have to put this on here and not swing. Yeah, that's rough. Power would have been a lot better than hammer because we would have gotten 2 stabs there, right? And we would have had the option of activating Seraph. I was really hoping they whipped on the Seraph activation, but now they've got a Seraph going. They're just going to out top deck us, right? We're in trouble. The Silverwing Familiar is not quite as good as stuff like Seraph, Sandstorm Titan, and Mystic Ascendant off the top of the deck. Charge. Oh, another flyer. They're just hitting straight flyers off Seraph. Jeez. Yeah. This is rough. We have to do this. It's either that or double block with these, but having extra bodies is more valuable because we have staves to make these just as big as this, right? So, interesting attack there. I'm kind of surprised they didn't swing with Karmic Guardian. I guess we could have just quad blocked that then. Okay, that at least stops that madness. Doesn't help with the other problems on the board. We would love to draw our 8th power soon, but we have to keep playing assuming we don't draw it, right? Yeah, they come with everything. So double block this. Block here. 4 comes in. But then they get to kill our Silverwing Familiar, and I don't really want that to happen. But killing this is nice. This is game 2. This is game 2. Alright, well, we have to do that. So then the question becomes, are we willing to give up our Silverwing Familiar here? Or do we save it to double staff it if we draw power? And I think we have more outs by double staffing this. Like, if we draw 8, we'd rather put double staff on this and start activating Seraph. But we have to think about maybe if we don't draw an 8th power here. Alright. Alright, so now we need to fade a silence for 1 turn and then start chugging through these Seraph activations, right? We didn't swing because this could block anyways. I mean, it does guarantee 7, but they'd also have to have, like, double Vanquish. Wow, are they really whiffing for this long up there? You've got to have something going on. This also puts them in a really awkward situation as far as, like, wrathing the board, right? Alright, well. We're still very heavy underdogs, but we're alive, and we've got a Seraph that can start activating, so. Let's see what they have here, right? Carnosaur, so they kill our Seraph. Okay. Yeah, that's rough. That is what I would call in the rough. So we block the alpha, we block here, we go to 8. They don't have lethal. Ooh-wee! Ooh-wee! Victorunk. Thank you for the follow. Yeah. They might have a... They're probably sitting on a Vank here, right? Well, let's see what they're actually... I think we have to play that there and find out. We just needed silence for this to start swinging? I guess we don't... This in a post-Harsh Rules world is crappy anyways. Trying to think of a reason to not play it. I guess I want to play this in case I draw silence for this. Alright, I don't know. I can't think of a scenario. I'm trying to think of a reason to play this, and I can't really. But I'd only be punished for not thinking of it, right? Decay. That's a way to pop the Aegis. That's going to be game. That's game. That is game. Alright, well, we tried to wiggle our way out of that. We just didn't quite get there, right? So do we want to change anything about our sideboard plans? I don't think so. I don't think so. It would have been nice to have drawn Stand Together at some point, but it seemed like Stewards and Praxis Displacers did their job. I think we ended up on the right number of hammers. Silverwing Familiars are kind of bad in this matchup. I didn't really think about that. Certainly at no point did we wish we had Awakened Students, right? All the rest of the flyers are great. Yeah, I was really impressed by Steward of the Prophecy there. It makes them have to deploy their silences in an odd fashion. Like, Silverwing Familiars are a little worse because we have less weapons. because we have less weapons, maybe we want less Silverwing Familiars and just more protects for our other threats. How many units are we at? 31? Like, the Silverwing Familiars really don't do a lot, right? They're mostly going to be 1/1s. Occasionally they'll end up with staves. But they might not be a 4 of, right? Alright. Alright. Let me double check what my sideboard looks like. Yeah, I should have thought about that more. What other kind of threats do we have? So maybe that's where we bring in the Oath books and stuff and just like go to town with one big thing. Alright, so if we do this, then we just bring in like 2 protects, which are in our sideboard, and like 2 Oath books. Maybe the Oath books help our other flyers be big enough threats. I don't know if they're better than Silverwing Familiars, though. And then just kind of go all in on Voltron. Actually up the number. Yeah, let's up the hammer and do this. Although we just cut a Silverwing Familiar. But the life gain's not that important. It was important there, but that was because Silverwing Familiars were largely a dead card and we just didn't have bigger, scarier things. Oathbook's nice with him playing 4 Harsh Rolls. Yeah, alright. Well, I think 2 protects and 3 stands is enough. It's the problem with Silverwing, it's not big enough, right? Like, getting it to 2/2 doesn't help. Getting these bigger helps. Alright, we'll try this plan instead and see what happens. This is just a rough matchup for us anyways, right? But maybe that'll help. I don't think we're supposed to bring in any infinite hourglasses. I don't think we can waste our time, like, with air, with, like, literal air. And I don't think I can afford to keep a 5-power hand on the draw. I can afford to keep this hand. That game really came down to us not getting the pressure we wanted early, right? Oh, this is great. Alright. So, most of this stuff will stay out of, you know, Vank range and such, and then we'll get to getting. We actually do need double time, so let's get that from there. And again, we'll present the Owlet first. They'll Desert Marshal it. And that's sad. The Owls are really sad against silences, but I don't know. We have to overload their silences, right? Sure. I can respect the chump check. Alright, opponent's off to a good start. Nothing worth enforcering. So do I play Seraph or Overseer? Seraph uses our power better. But all it does is get in the way on the ground. We'll slow roll this. This is going to be awkward to figure out how to play. Might try and get there with leaving it up and then just play a Scorpion Wasp and then like stand together the Scorpion Wasp and just be like, this is going to annoy you to death, and try and figure out a lane from there. It's really awkward that we drew both of our 2-ofs, right? You just don't want to do that. And yet, here we are. If they Desert Marshal this, do I have to stand together? It feels like a waste. I don't want a Valk Enforcer, though. We'll just trade this for a Desert Marshal here. I guess we're actually fine with that, looking at our hand. So now the question is, do we play the Seraph here? If they play Seraph, they could Harsh Rule, and we'd be sad. Like, this is enough. This plus a flyer is enough to justify a Harsh Rule. Yeah, let's go with this turn Scorpion Wasp into an offensive weapon plan. Now I don't have a 2-drop, and this hand is real clunky, right? It does have that second really bad mode to it, right? It's not quite a Scaly Gruon, but it's close. Part of me wishes I could stand together to start eating these dumb things, but I don't think it's quite the right time yet. Just want to get as many Aegis as we can. Although it only prevents 1 Wrath, it doesn't prevent 2. So ideally we draw our 6 power here, and we just have this nice aerial assault going, and we can protect something else. Desert Marshal. Oh. Oh, that's a dagger. This is where it gets awkward. This is why I'm playing this much power in this deck. We do want to get the 6 power to draw 2 spells a turn, or to play 2 spells a turn. Instead, we just draw on all of our 3-drops and none of our 2-drops. Yeah, curve's important. Maybe we didn't pay enough attention to it. I don't know. We cut 3-drops, right? I think I have to throw this here. As awkward as that feels. I think it's correct. It's just too much of a tax holding it up anymore. You just kind of have to accept what your draw is, right? And that's pretty good. Of course, they could have their own Scorpion Wasp now, and I feel like an idiot, right? So we're not gonna play the staff yet. Let's check out their list again. How many Scorpion Wasps do they have? They have 2. Okay. No Scorpion Wasp. Always good to send the Canary in. These are obnoxiously hard to deal with. They're out of Vanquish range. This thing's big and dumb. That eats a Vanquish. That makes us feel better. Sorry about that. I should have played a staff there. I was distracted. That was a big punt. There's no reason to not play a staff there. Oh well. I needed to play a Vodkin staff there. Fuck. Is it Great Parliament? Because now our turn is really clunky here. Would have much preferred this was a 6-drop last turn. Pause. Decay. Pops the Aegis. And then they have the other Vanquish. No. Okay. They were sitting on 2 Decays. Maybe they should have just played more big units. I think we're gonna do this. Just because if their last card in hand is somehow Sandstorm Titan, well, we've got another Valk Enforcer and we have Lethal. We're in pretty good shape here. I'm trying to figure out... I mean, it depends on how kind the top of their deck is, right? Boy, 2/2 Scorpion Wasps, man. They're strong. Kind of surprising they did those at sorcery speed, right? They could have held it up on my turn so I didn't know to silence this pre-combat. Then they would have been able to declare this blocker and double decay it then. So I think that was kind of a misplay on our opponent's part. Although we were tapped out, right? Here comes another Parliament. 2 more flyers. I mean, we can't Steward of the Prophecy Parliament anyway, so... Our opponent is in the tank. Yep, there's Sandstorm Titan. Alright. 2-1 victory. 2-1 victory. We'll take it. We'll take it.